right now we're going to speak with two parents from the J.W. Fletcher Memorial School, Ms. Paula Bell and Mr. Glenn St. Louis. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Daybreak Grenada.
Thank you.
How are you doing this morning?
Fine, thanks.
Good. Now, we're hearing that the J.W. Fletcher Memorial School is being considered to be converted into a secondary school by the ministry. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. What happened was in January, we were called to a PTA meeting and we were told that we're going to have discussions, and the discussions were about what to do because they were considering the school. That was what we were told. They were considering the school to turn it into a high school. What happened actually is it seems like they've already made their decision and they've been pushing us around with lies. So what we are doing is trying to give our side of it because we're told it's not feasible for it to be both primary and secondary, but there's space in the school to do that. There's facilities to do that. So we're trying to figure out why is it's not feasible. The school can hold 500 plus students. There's 150 something students. So that tells me there's enough space. We were told that to give suggestions. So we said, okay, first we just wanted to stay at primary school. Then we said, okay, if we don't have an option, we will agree to phase in, which means that come September, no new students will come in. So then there'll be space for all the Form 1s that's coming because that's supposedly why they need the space. So we said, okay. So that way, every year, there'd be more students leaving, and then there'd be more space for the new forms coming up. That's not what we're hearing now. Now we're hearing that it's going to happen. We've had the minister, every time we go in for a meeting, we're being shoved paperwork and told, sign, choose a school for your child, and we will find the spot in that school for the child. Parents have checked it out, and there really isn't space in some of the schools that they're telling us that there is space in. We know that as parents. They don't need to do that because the kids have the space right now, and they can keep them there, and they can do what they need to do and bring in the high school. So, because they've done it before, they've had PBC in there, they've had National College in there. So that means it can work. So I really don't see why they keep trying to throw our kids to the wolves, basically, because the kids are now starting to get stressed. Because right now, because of what's going on, they're always asking, where are we going to school? Is the school closing? Because they're hearing that from each other, from the school, from the parents, because parents are trying to figure out what is going on, because we're not getting any information, proper information. Because when the government tells us we're having a meeting, we're not having a meeting to discuss the kids and how it's going to affect them or what's really going to happen. Basically, all they're doing is just throwing things to us and telling us, okay, well, here's a list, choose from it. I'm not just choosing from it. I chose already. I wanted my kid there. If there was no options, then I'd say, okay, well, I'd look for something. But there is an option. The option is leave the kids alone and bring in the Form 1s. The Form 1s go there. Then the next year, kids go up. You have space for the next Form 2s come in. The Form 1s come in, these ones go up to Form 2. You have the space. So there's no need for them to be stressing out our kids like this. The kids are getting all annoyed and stressed out for no reason because the government is not doing what it's supposed to do, taking care of our kids. They're gonna, right now what they're planning is they're gonna put some here and put some there. And there's some places that's not gonna be convenient for parents. Because just because you live in St. David's, you may not work in St. David's. You may work in town. So when the kid finish school now, say 2 o'clock, you finish work 4 or 5 o'clock, you reach home 6, 7 o'clock, your kid is home so many hours on their own, you might say, okay, well, I'll give them a cell phone. If you have a cell phone, you could be anywhere. And I call and you say, yes, you're home, but you're not home. And there's nobody there to take care of them. Whereas if the kids are in the same area as you, as in town or wherever, maybe you have a cousin or somebody who can keep an eye on the child while you finish, you know, or maybe depending on where you work, the kid can come to your work and be around that area doing their homework or whatever until you're finished. But they're not thinking of that. They're not thinking of what's going to happen to the kids if they do this. They're not thinking of the amount, the finance for the parents. They're not thinking of any of the results of what they're doing. They just decide they want to make this a high school, and that's what they're going to do. And they're saying they're going to work with the parents. They're not working with the parents. They're not working with the parents. They're not working with the teachers. They're not working with the church. Nobody. Because if they were, they would go for phasing. That is the simplest solution, the easiest solution, the less stressful solution for everybody concerned. And that is why we're upset.
Right. What about the teachers as well who are presently teaching at the school? Is there a plan for them as well?
Well, the teachers actually, they said that they would actually send them to various schools, including the principal. Now they are not happy with that. They claim, they seem to have difficulty with the truth. We are not saying that they are lying, but they seem to have difficulty with truth. That includes consultation. There was no proper consultation. This thing only started in January. And there's been only 3 meetings. And no consultation with the union. And no proper consultation with the parents neither. The last thing we had, actually, I was informed by the principal on Tuesday that the ministry had called asking for parents' telephone numbers to contact them directly. Now, what we are all upset about is the autocratic way in which things are being done. You see, as she said before, we chose school for our children. The ministry did not put our children in the schools that they wanted. Now, we were told that there is a list actually that's already been prepared where they are going to send the various children. Now, take me for instance. I lived in the south of the island. There's a school very close to me, but my child come to town because I work on H.A. Bay Street. After school, finish at 2:30, he could come over to meet me there. Now, if he had to stay home after school, grandparents, he will either be unsupervised for a number of hours until I get home. Sometime, because of my job, sometime I get home at 6 o'clock. What happens to him? I can't afford to pay a babysitter to look after him full time.
Is there also some sort of compensation plan being considered for this?
Well, we were told at one of the meetings, don't worry, the ministry is going to provide uniforms for your children. Now, my child used 5 uniforms per week. 5 days, a different one, because you know how they are messy. Do they have the resources for that? For 158 children? One parent asked, how about transportation? Don't worry, come September there will be school buses. I don't know anything about school buses coming in September. And we'll give you all money to defray your expenses.
So basically there is no formal plan moving into September. How soon is this supposed to happen?
This is supposed to happen in September.
Okay.
But what is happening is they're trying to bully us into signing stuff or moving your kids so then they can say, well, what they're trying to do basically is divide and conquer. So if they get the parents to panic and move their kids, then they can say, well, there's only a few kids left, so why we worry in our head? We can just put them in a school.
Right.
But if parents stick to their gun and don't move their kids, they won't be able to do that. So now that's why they decide they're going to take the list from Mr. Hunt and start calling people and harass them at home to try and get you to sign. But I hope whoever is there do not call my house, because I do not need to be harassed from the government.
Okay. Now, J.W. Fletcher Memorial School has been in existence for
Over
quite a while. There's a lot of
years.
history
Yes,
surrounding the
it's the oldest
school. Is there some sort of plan to preserve that history?
I have no idea.
No. The only thing, they say they are going to retain the name, actually.
Yes.
Okay.
J.W. Fletcher Secondary School.
Okay.
Now, they spoke of consulting. Now, as you know, it's a Roman Catholic school, right? Roman Catholic primary school. And they claim that they have had extensive consultation with the church. The church said no, they didn't.
Okay.
They only met 2 people from the church board, met, and they gave the tentative approval.
And they agreed for phasing.
And they agreed, they basically agreed for phasing out the thing. Now, we've spoken to past principals, including ex-principal Palmer, who was once Governor General of this country. And they're totally against that. It's ridiculous you can do a thing like that. The teachers, they claim that they have consulted the teachers' union. They said no, there was no consultation. They simply mentioned it to them. That's not consultation, right? The fact is, right, the school could accommodate 500 students. We have 158 primary school children there. They need space for 119 secondary. The way the school is laid out, we are suggesting that they could have secondary upstairs and the primary downstairs. Adequate space, but they don't want to hear that. They don't want to think outside of the box. They are saying that primary and secondary should not mix. My children went to school in Montreal for a number of years. They started from kindergarten right up to grade 11 in the same big building. There was no problem. The big ones did not beat up on the little ones. All you need is proper supervision. But unfortunately, the ministry cannot see that.
Right, and this is part of which project that the ministry is having, the Ministry of Education?
Yes. What it is they're trying to get a loan from the Caribbean Bank. And they have been given a list of things that need to be done. Part of it is getting a high school. So I guess they figured they throw the primary school, they get a high school, then they can tick it off the list. They're also supposed to put in universal schooling, and they're doing that as of this year, I'm told. So, but the problem is, and I think they haven't even thought about this, is not all kids are good in the science or the maths or whatever. Where are they going to provide for, or what are they going to provide for the kids who need the technical? Are they doing anything about that? Palmer already has that in place. So they have a system where they provide for the kids who are faster and the kids who are slower. They do it in the class. The teacher works with both of them so that none of the kids feel like they're out of control or they're slow. They don't get to make them feel bad. The ones that are faster, they give them work to do, and then they help the slow ones to catch up. If they keep doing what they're planning to do, then what's going to happen to our kids? Because what is not being taken into consideration is you have to have a proper base. If you have no foundation, you have nothing. When you're building, you make sure your foundation is solid. If your foundation is not solid, your house fall long in a few years, your building fall long in a few years. You have to provide solid foundations for these kids. They're getting it in Palmer. They're getting what they need, and they're getting more. And the teachers are willing to donate their time and the extra, whatever it is that's needed. The kids have built a relationship with their teachers. When the minister came, she said she likes what she sees in Palmer. If you like what you see, why are you trying to destroy it? Instead of destroying it, use Palmer as a model for other schools and let other schools do what Palmer is doing, because the other schools probably don't have that system. Usually you find the technical in the high schools. But right now you're going to need it in the primary schools because you guys are going universal. So they need it. So use Palmer as a model and let other schools follow Palmer School, and that is what they're supposed to be doing. Don't try to destroy the kids. Don't take away from them what they have.
Mr. St. Louis, anything you have to comment on before we close?
Well, it's a fight that we do not intend to desist from. We are going to take it to, I hope not the bitter end. I hope it's not going to be a bitter end. But the parents are not going to give up on this.
And we're not moving the kids.
We see that, you know, it's a high-handed way of trying to just, you know, do what you want to do. We are not against universal secondary education, but we are totally against what is being done because there is another way out, a much better way out. I am not going to call any names of any official from government who agrees, but there are those in there who agree, hey, this is the wrong way to do it. You are aggravating parents, you know, especially in an election year. You want to do things like that? You don't do things like that in an election year.
All right. Well, thank you so much for addressing your concerns, and we really do hope that some sort of positive resolution comes out of this for, you know, all parties involved, right? Especially the children, right?
Yes,
especially the children. That's why we're doing this. All right, thank you so much, Mr. St. Louis and Ms. Bell, for coming in.